Good morning, I am Gerhard Mathangani with today's Sports Brief. After knocking off LSU 55-17, the Alabama football team now turns its attention to Arkansas in the regular season finale. The top-ranked Tide sit 9-0 on the season, and they've already clinched the SEC West and a spot in the conference title game. Now, with all the excitement of a possible league championship win now ahead, the goal is to refocus on the Razorbacks and a shot at a perfect regular season.
I think this is our next game. This is what we need to be focused on. We need to respect their team. Their team's capable of beating anybody that they've demonstrated, all year long. So there's no question about the fact that, this is a little bit of a historic game for us too. We've only had one team around here that went undefeated, and it wasn't as difficult for that team to go undefeated as it is for this team playing, 10 SEC games. So I think anytime you play on the road in the SEC, you've got to be ready to play, and you got to respect the fact that the team that you're playing certainly is capable of beating you if you don't execute, which was, the point made in the beginning of this statement. When we execute, good things happen. When we don't, we allow the other team opportunities on both sides of the ball.
We kind of talked about that as a beginning of the year goal. Obviously playing an all SEC schedule to go undefeated would be something that no other team has ever done, just because no other teams had to play an all SEC schedule. But at the end of the day, it just goes back to execution. Obviously Arkansas has a really good team. They've lost some really close games, and they could have a better record or whatever people want to say, but they have great players and a really good scheme, and they're going to give us their best shot, and we have to be ready to go.
Meanwhile, Alabama wide receiver Devontae Smith won the SEC Offensive Player of the Week award after his sensational day in Baton Rouge. The senior caught 8 passes for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns. The most memorable, this one-handed scoring grab in the back of the end zone.
Quick story about that pass. We ran the same play versus Missouri on the 18th play of the game versus Missouri in the red zone, and I threw the same pass, but I threw it too far to the right, and it was actually out of bounds. Smitty wasn't mad at me, but he was like, just throw it up, just throw it up. So 8 games later, we run the same play, and Smitty, had a great route on Stingley, and I just kind of threw it up towards the back, and obviously Smitty helped me out and made a great play. So I guess it just goes back to trust, and from a great catch standpoint, I don't know. There's a highlight reel that goes on for forever with Smitty, and I don't really have a specific one, but if it's one-on-one, I'm going to throw it up to him, and I hope that he can continue to make plays.
Alabama and Arkansas square off at 11 a.m. in Fayetteville. And finally, there will not be an undefeated team in the NFL. The Pittsburgh Steelers fell to Washington 23-17 at home to drop to 11-1 on the year. The Steelers blew a 14-point lead in the loss and rushed for just 21 yards. Pittsburgh travels to Buffalo next week. And that wraps up your sports brief. Our program continues next.